Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for coming today. Want to get us moving and on time. I'm sure some other people will join in as we go, and it's great to see each of you today for our Dominating Your Database Mastermind. So, as with most of our masterminds, we will have a breakout inside here. If you can't come on camera during the breakout, that's great. I get it. I understand that some of us are in places that we can't necessarily be on camera. And please just be ready to share in some way with your group. This is really here to help us build up our businesses. And as part of building up our business, it comes to talking about what you're going to do, what your action items are, where you are, and where you want to get to. And so let me start by introducing the team, and then we'll jump in and allow everybody to just start learning today. We've got an expert on databases here with us today, and we'll introduce her in just a moment. And in the meantime, can everybody see the screen that says optimize your business by dominating your database?
Yes.
Great. I'm not showing the wrong one this time, am I? Okay, perfect. Good. So I'm Jeff Kuhn. I am the one of the franchise partners and owners here for Cyberbacker Maryland that services Maryland, DC, and Delaware. If you haven't had a chance to meet me yet, next time you see me at an event, please wave your hand, come over, shake my hand. I'd love to have a chance to meet you. I'm also a speaker and a trainer and a leadership coach here locally. So I do a lot of speaking events. If the topic that we talk about sounds like something that we should bring it into your business to talk about directly at your business, just let me know. As a partner of Cyberbacker, we do have some great rates of sponsorship from Cyberbacker to come speak at your office. So just let me know. And then if you're here, you've met these other two ladies, but I want them to go ahead and introduce themselves because they are key pieces of making this franchise work. So Shara, go ahead.
Alrighty, thank you, Jeff. Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Shara. I am the growth backer assigned here at Cyberbacker Maryland. And of course, I work closely with Jeff. So what I do is to help our clients to evaluate their business and to figure out what will be the best leverage for them to be able to be successful this 2024, or but basically for their business. So that is it for me. Thank you.
Thanks, Shara. Irene.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Irene. I'm part of the career team here in Cyberbacker, Maryland. So, as a career backer, I'm helping to find the right talents and partner them with clients who share the same values. That's it for me, Jeff.
Love it. Thank you both. And thank you both for your hard work. So one thing that I do want to always invite people to have a chance to check out, and that is our last month content. So last month, we talked about mastering your financials with bookkeeping and tax strategies. And we had a special bookkeeper guest on and our CPA and tax principal. And so I know it's still that time of season. We try to get in and get it ahead of time so that way you learn some good things to get your year prepared and also close out your last year. If you need a copy of the recording, just reach out to Shara. You can email us at maryland@cyberbacker.com and just ask for a link to the webinar and we'll send you the recording. In the meantime, let's get started with some questions, and then I'll introduce our guest that'll help carry us through some of this information. So, show of hands or into the chat, who here has an official database? Now, when I say official database, this could just be a spreadsheet, but what it is not, what's not an official database is what? Who knows? Who can tell me what wouldn't be considered an official database as far as how you're organizing your contacts? All right. Well, if you're like me, or were like me from maybe a dozen or so years ago before I learned that this is something I should be doing, you might have most of your contacts just in your phone. And you have a list of who you want to call, or you're going through and swiping through the phone and like, I think I called the A's last week. I'll call the B's this week. Or I haven't talked to Susie in a while. Let me give Susie a ring. And a lot of times when we are just getting started in our business, it feels like our phone is our database. And that's okay. The phone is our database. We're going to talk a little bit more today about getting your contacts off of your phone and making it at least some way official. If you're not using some sort of customer relationship management tool, which we also call CRMs, we'll go more into that too. I had a new client I was talking to earlier today and earlier this week, and he was telling me that he literally hadn't built a database yet. So as a new client that hadn't built the database yet, how many sales do you think he completed in 2024 so far. We're 3 months in. He has no database built other than the contacts in his phone. How many sales do you think he's achieved? Hint, it was on the teaser video for this call, but if anybody saw it. All right. None. He had 0 sales, and he was looking for somebody to help him literally jumpstart his business because he hadn't been able to achieve any traction or get any sales yet. But who knows that just having a database doesn't get you any sales either, right? It's how we're going to work it. So speaking of working it, when's the last time that you felt your database was a well-oiled machine? When is the time that you felt like your database was a well-oiled machine? Somebody jump your hand up and tell us about when they felt like their database was running really smoothly. Jasmine, welcome. I see you down there. Welcome to the family. Good to have you on. Marco, too. Look at that. We've got a few new faces here. Love it. Well, if you're not going to share out here, you can throw it into the chat, too, as a for instance. But please take a moment to write this down. This is what we call a high point in your business. Most of us, whether we're a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, or whether we work for somebody else, we can think of a time in our career that our database felt like it was doing all the right things. And I want you to identify those in your business so that way we've got that focus point, something that we're looking towards and something that we're gearing up to in order to achieve success by building our database to that point ourselves. And finally, what's keeping your database from being its best today? So now that we know where we're going, what is it that's standing in our way? Who's got something that's happening right now inside of their database or inside of organizing their contacts that's just really getting in the way? I want to make sure we answer that for you today as we go through some of this content. Throw it in the chat. What's getting in your way right now? Everybody came to this call for a reason. You didn't come to this call just because you wanted to hear me talk. I know you didn't, because my wife doesn't even like to hear me talk. And so from that standpoint, you came to hear more about databases and dominating and growing your business. So what's the obstacle that's getting in your way? What is it that you want to be able to achieve from this call today? What piece of, what nugget do you want to walk away from? Write that down too. All right, y'all ready? We're going to introduce you to our special guest. This is Kate. Time and organization. Thanks, Teresa. I appreciate that, right? Because organizing takes time. So just taking the time to organize it, set the systems up, it's getting in your way. Thank you for sharing, for sure. So this is Kate. Kate is one of our head backers. And as a head backer, for those that don't know, Kate is responsible for actually training other cyberbackers, a lot of our cyberbackers, on how to effectively work and grow databases. I couldn't think of anybody that could be more expert than somebody that's training dozens of other businesses on how to grow a database than to bring Kate on. So Kate, thank you for joining us today. We've got Jasmine throwing into the chat too that she's getting in her own way. She just needs to be held accountable and get onto a schedule for growing her database. So Kate, welcome. Tell us a little bit more about yourself, and then I'll let you take it away.
Sure. Right. Hi, Jeff, and hi, everybody. Thank you so much for taking the time to just simply be here and just attend the mastermind session. So once again, yes, as Jeff has mentioned, so I am a head backer, part of the head backer team here in Cyberbacker, and I am in charge in training the cyberbackers to the tools that you would want them to be trained on, most especially what you use for your business. So they are the ones, or I help them and I assist them at the same time on what else to better help them to better improve, give them ideas on how to help you build your database. So not only that, there will still be a continuous after training support that we give so that the consistency is always there. So that's the thing. All right. So nice to meet you all, and let's proceed with our database domination, unlocking success through effective deal management. So for today, here are the key highlights that we are going to tackle on. So we will be learning the importance and definition of the taggings that we commonly use, and we will be learning how would we be able to do follow-up systems, or what are the kinds of follow-up systems that we can use for our database, and how would we be able to start on conversations, or how or what are the actions that we can do to move people up to the pipeline stages. All right. So if you do have any questions, yes, feel free to post it on our chat or raise your hand, and yeah, that you would be able to also answer your questions in relation to this. So first and foremost, how important are tagging contacts in the database? So then again, I believe everybody of us already have a database here, right? If none yet, then again, how important it is. It is a really good question because then again, whenever we have new leads, right, potential leads, one thing that we need to think about is where are we going to store them, right? Where are we going to keep their data is? Where are we able to keep their information safe so that you would be able to nurture them, right? Because then again, everybody, all potential clients would start with leads. So without a proper database system in place, we won't be able to follow them up properly, right? So the importance of tagging our systems is for us to be able to make sure that they are actually put in specific, let's say for example, powerful tags that we have here, new lead or lead, easily identify who are these contacts are. Then our DTD2, I believe some of you are already aware of DTD2s here. Year and then the client. When you say year and then the client, that means to say maybe that was your client last 2022, VIP clients, birthday or anniversary, inactive or referrals. So the purpose of the taggings here is for you to be able to identify, okay, which or where do you think that the specific lead would belong to? And then it would help you to be able to determine how you would be able to nurture them. How are you going to connect with them? Because let's say, for example, if you're not going to tag them and then that there's like 500 contacts, maybe on your phone, on your spreadsheet, on your database, and then it went by for a couple of days, it went by for a couple of weeks, it went by for a couple of months. So how would you know that this specific person is a new lead? How can you remember? How would you be able to remember, like, oh yeah, I need to contact this person again?
Wait a minute,
But I
Kate. Question for you. Isn't everybody I put in my database a lead?
Well, actually, no. There are
No?
some, a lead. Well, all that are somewhat new, all that you haven't contacted to, but those that are you've already had a transaction with, of course, they will also be a possible lead because one thing, you can reach out to them for possible referrals, right? Well, I
Well,
guess I need to scratch my answer from earlier. I'm gonna change that to yes because even those previous previous clients, they can also be a possible lead. Yep.
yeah, well, I mean, but I think it's a good point actually, because sometimes people will enter their information into our system, and when they enter their information in, they are requesting more information. They are telling us that they want to be contacted, and sometimes it's somebody I met at a networking event that feels like they could be a good client for us in the future, or it's I'm a member of Real Producers in the house. We had a Real Producers gentleman on a moment ago. I'm losing them in the list in front of me. I'm a member of Real Producers, and just because I'm a member of Real Producers, got the list, right? So now I've got the top 500 agents in the area. I've got all the vendor partners that are also part of it, and so that's part of my database. But some of them have no idea who I am, right? And they definitely don't know who my business is. And if I was going to put them into my system and call them a lead, that might feel a little disingenuous, right? I think I'd probably be lying to myself about my numbers. My conversion would probably be wrong, which I know we're going to get into in a little bit, right? Because like, if it's a lead that doesn't turn into an appointment or doesn't convert in any way, but I've got it tagged in my system as a lead, that's not accurate. Like, the person doesn't even know my name. It's not a lead. It's just a number in my database, right? So I like that you put that in there because that's a great place to start. And that takes us into those other pieces. I love that you put the year client too, by the way. And I think we should talk a little bit more about D2D. And I think you have that later on. But the year client, I was at a function a couple of years ago, and somebody at that event literally said the words like, he said, I hate that people call them past clients, right? He's like, there's no such thing as a past client. They were your clients that might have been spending some money. And now they might be clients that aren't spending money. And you still have a relationship with them, whether they're using your business right now or not, right? We're still following up on that person. We still have a relationship, and it's somebody that we should put into our system in such a way that we can know how to follow up with them. In real estate, and I know we have a lot of real estate agents on here, in real estate, who knows how often it is that an average homeowner will change addresses, will move. Who knows? Throw it into the chat. How often do people move in the real estate business? So if you're in title, if you're in lending, if you're a real estate agent, this is probably an important number for all of you. Who knows? What's the average time that somebody spends in their home? No one? No guesses? What's a guess? 9 years. 9 years is close, Chris. That's a good number. It might actually be more accurate right now because the market's slowed down 11. That's right. There we go. So you might be more accurate than I am. That's right. It used to be 7. And so 7 to 9, I'll take it. 9 years I'm going to call you the authority on it. So 9 years. So if I put in that somebody just moved with me in 2024, then I should understand that by what year I should be reaching out again. 2024, they just bought a house. What year should I be reaching out again? It's a trick question. All right, there we go. So same year, I'm going to keep reaching out. Love it. And I'm going to get a little bit more intentional about some of my reach outs as time goes on. It's not likely that they're going to buy a house from me and then they're going to buy a house from me in 3 months, but they might be getting an investment property. We obviously still want to invite them to some client functions, and we would still want to keep in touch with them, but we'd want to understand the life cycle of that particular client, right? So good. Love it. Awesome. Anything else on this slide? I know I totally took that out of your hands there for a second. Anything else anybody
It's fine, no worries. Just to piggyback what Jeff have mentioned. So then again, if you do have a database and then you're using past client, much better to change that. Why? Because it feels like you're closing. I know that it's like, like your client before and he or she have been your client before, but it's like you're closing the door to make them into an opportunity. Since I remember these clients that you had before, maybe in years time or maybe 1 year, they might be able to invest in another house, right? Or they might give you a referral. So that's one thing. So as much as possible, it would be best if we could determine when was the last year that you were able to touch them? When was the last year so that we would know at the same time how we would be able to reach out to them. So let's say, for example, this was a client last 2003 that you reached out, hey, this is Jeff Kuhn. You remember me? Something like that. So they're saying, what? I'm sorry. I can't remember you, something like that. So it would be much better if you would be able to determine those contacts that you have in the database, in your contacts. Remember when was the last time you reached out to them? Because in this way, if you do have someone who assists you to nurture them, they would know what would be the better up to approach them. All right. So each year we have different approaches. We don't use approaches like, say, for example, you want to send them an email and everything is the same. And then you've touched base with this person like, what, 5 years ago? So, of course, they won't remember you, right? So, that's also one thing. All right. Another one. A lot actually have questioned why do we need to add in birthday and anniversary? So, usually, if we have a client that we are connected before and then we help them close a transaction or we help them buy a property, so of course we also need to celebrate their victories with them on a yearly basis, right? Like, hey, celebrating this 1 year with you, just simply because that is part of touch basing with them. When they're already your client, that doesn't mean that you would stop there. It's still a continuous thing because at the same time we need referrals. We want referrals as well from them, right? We may not know, maybe their cousin as well. Say, hey, this agent is really great because I've reached out to this. I asked his help or her help 2 years ago, and he's been keeping in touch with me. Maybe I can connect you with him or her. I can connect you with this agent. Maybe he can help you if you're looking for property, something like that. Right. So it is also a great way. Even celebrating birthdays. So most especially, of course, we build connection with them, right? And well, as much as possible, if we want to celebrate with them virtually, then let's celebrate with them virtually, right? Sending greeting cards, that's also good. Hey, happy birthday. No? So just to remind them that we're keeping them in our minds. They're always in our minds, they're always in our hearts, even in our hearts. We're keeping them in our database so that just in case that they need us, they remember us. All right?
You've got
There you go.
VIP listed there too. If they're a VIP
Yeah.
client, what are you doing differently with your VIPs? Those
Usually,
touch points, right?
sorry.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
special touch points. If you're reaching out on a birthday to a VIP, it might look a little different than sending a birthday card to just a standard client, right? So who are the VIPs? And we've done different webinars on this before too, identifying those top 20 board of director type clients that are in your pool that you can go to, that they've got your back, they support your business through thick and thin. Like, how are you interacting with them differently? How much more often are you interacting with them inside of your database? And that's why we got them tagged separately, right? Love it.
Yep,
All
there you go. Yep. Another one is inactive. So why? Why do we need to keep an inactive tag there? Actually, inactive is also very important because let's say, for example, we have or you haven't organized or cleaned up your database and then it's stored there a lot of contacts already. So the reason as to why we also need to include the inactive tag here, it's because these would help us, or this would actually help us to determine who are those clients whom we haven't really been in touch with for a while. So usually it's ultimately up to us on how to decide on what period of time that needs to somehow us to be able to decide to put the inactive status for a specific client. Just the reason for this is for us to just keep track on those clients who have not been in the loop for some time now, and then it is a good way for us to start sowing the seed somehow of maybe reactivating them again, right? Sending
Yeah.
them emails. So that's one thing.
Yeah, I love
And
this.
at this,
And just as a small side, like, you all are throwing
Mhm.
client events, and you've got somebody that hasn't responded. This is a great step that I heard at a point, and I encourage a lot of my clients to do this, and it works really well. When you're looking through that list, and very similar, who hasn't responded, who hasn't even opened their emails in a while, right? That's usually me. I have one specific email address that I send everything to, and a lot of times I don't see everything. It gets 150, 200 emails in a day. I send all that client type stuff to that so I can keep my business emails cleaner, right? And so so a lot of times it's me. And so I learned this from somebody that has kept me in their contact information really, really well. And it was like, who do I know that is an advocate for us that just hasn't responded, hasn't opened their email? Who do I know that I felt like we had a good customer service situation that happened inside of building relationships, and yet they haven't responded in any way? They've really fallen off the list, because those are the type of people that it makes sense to, and we're going to get into this in a little bit, but it makes sense to try to reach out to them in a different way, right? It makes sense to say, hey, they're not coming to our client event, they haven't opened our emails. I'm going to do something extra special to make sure that they understand that I still care. And that's, again, a great place where inactives show up. Maybe I've got the email address wrong. Maybe they changed their email address, or they updated it, they got a new one. My wife likes to complain every time that she goes to email me that she types in the word Jeff and like 15 different options pop up because of all the different Gmail accounts I've added over the years. Right? I've got 6 active ones right now, so she's never sure which one to send it to. So really, really crucial to understand how often people are interacting with your communication, and inactive can help you identify those people really quick inside of your database. So love that. Thanks, Kate. And then the big one,
You're welcome.
referrals, right? So tell me about referrals. What do we do differently when we're tagging referrals?
Usually for referrals, the reason as to why we also need this specific tag is for us to be able to determine who are those clients that was referred to us by another agent, referred to us by our clients as well, because that's also a possibility. So this is for us to be able to determine what kind of approach do we need to do here, what kind of action do we need to do here for us to be able to, you know, say this is a lead, but at the same time it's a referral. So how are we going to take the first step? So
Yeah.
that's also one thing.
And then I think the second most important, or even more important sometimes than tagging the referral, is tagging what that goes along with the referral. You said it while you were talking. It's tagging who, not just the lead. Well, so we're tagging the lead as the referral. Who else? What else are we noting when we're tagging the referral? We're tagging the referrer, right? Because again, like, tagging the referrer could help us identify who is going to become a new VIP maybe for us. Maybe we've got a really excited client that was really happy about a business that we brought, the customer service that we gave. To your point, if it's an agent from outside of state and they're referring into us, well, we want to make sure that we're following up with that person the right way, because we want to be the agent of choice when they we want to be the business of choice when they send business into the state, whatever business it is that they're doing with us, right? If they've got a bunch of clients that have some Airbnbs over on the Eastern Shore and they need a contractor, we want to know who's referring that business. And we want to know, we want to be able to thank them and reach out to them and close the loop on how that conversation went and that we treated their clients in a great way, right? Good. All right. Love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a little breakout. I promised you it was coming. And with that, what we want you to talk about here is, have you seen any tags that you need to bring into your business? So write that question down. What tags should I be incorporating into my business? Did we miss any, right? Is there a tag that you use that we didn't show up here on the screen? Kate's an expert, and I know that some of you have an extra special tool in your belt that you use to keep in touch with your clients, and it's something that works great for you. So what tag do you think you should add, A, and then do you have a special tag that you're using that you should tell us about? So everybody gets a minute to share. This is just a quick 5-minute breakout. Again, at least come off and say hello to those around us, and we'll see you back here in 5 minutes. Hit the pretty blue button. We'll ask for some shares as you come back. So if you hear something fun, please jump back in, ready to tell us about it. See you all in 5 minutes. All right, we're going to come back and share just a moment. I need at least 2 volunteers. 2 volunteers. Something that you discussed in the breakout that you can either incorporate in your business, or good golden nugget that you learned from somebody else or that you shared. Go ahead, Margo.
So I was in a room with Chris, and to share Chris, she gets a lot of referrals. So I think her tags are more referral based. She's an agent and an investor. And for me, I'm interested a lot in my marketing leads because I spend a fair amount of money on pay-per-click ads. I buy real estate notes around the country, seeing where the marketing leads come from. So just before this call, I was on with Call Rail support, figuring out a little thing there, and then upgrading my service with them. So I like to tag in the database so I can go back and see where my marketing spend is coming from and what it's leading to.
And so do you tag the source?
So pay-per-click, obviously, whether it's Google or Bing, but then drilling into that, what was the search term?
Okay.
Because that's one of the more valuable things. So where did it come from geographically, and then what type of a lead was it? But a note secured by what? What's the value of it? How many am I closing in certain areas?
Love that. So data specific to the business that you're doing, which and again, referral versus refer. Where is the lead coming from? Where is it coming from, and what's it going to do for me? I think that's key, right? Inside real estate, inside construction, you're like, if I'm a general contractor and somebody's reaching out to me about basement remodel, I should know that. It should be a tag, right? Like, basement is probably something that I'm looking for because that's an inside thing versus building a gazebo outside, right? I might not be doing a roof replacement in December as a GC, but I could easily be working on a basement in December, right? So, and likewise, exactly, as far as loans, as far as buying notes, even inside of real estate, as far as the market that they're looking for, the size of the home or the price range that they're in, as far as pre-approvals. New house comes onto the market that's in that price range, and we've got them tagged that way. That's probably a really smart way to know who and how to reach out once we've got something that hits, right? Love that. That's great, share. Thank you. One more. I know we've got some other golden nuggets. Can't just be Marco and Chris as the only smart ones on this call. Who else wants to be smart with us? James, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, I could see tagging as commercial versus residential. That would probably be a great, and then even in commercial, it could be government versus non-government.
Yeah.
And then what types, restaurants or offices? Or,
yeah,
yeah.
Also good points, right? Offices, we're going to be doing different business and different work at different times in a restaurant, right?
Right.
Point out government. I mean, talk about a great tag for businesses locally, because we have a lot more government around here than others, and we do need to treat them differently, for sure. Great. Love it. Perfect. See? I knew there was somebody else smart on this call. Thanks, James. We all are. I understand that we can't always share, so appreciate y'all just going with my humor. That's a different story. We won't share that one today. I did, well, all right. We won't share that one today. Here we go. Let's get started. Kate, you're back up.
All right, thank you so much for sharing. Those are also amazing ideas. So now this time, let's learn, or let's talk about database follow-up systems. So there are actually different types of systems that we use, right? But the question here is, I'm waiting for Jeff to, there you go. All right, so the question here is how to implement an effective follow-up system. So then again, implementing a specific follow-up system would really depend on how you would want the follow-up to be done. So there are a lot of different types of follow-up systems that we use. Now, one thing is, let's see here. I'm sorry, Jeff. Thank you very much. So we have here 3 common follow-up systems that are used by most of our clients. So we have here the DTD2, we have the 12 Direct, and we also have the 36 Touch. 36 Touch plan is one of the most common touches or plans that we use as much as possible, because of course we need to touch base with our contacts on a yearly basis, right? We cannot just contact them in just a limited time. Well, of course, we also have this what we call as 8x8. You can also make that as a continuous thing all year round, as long as there is a follow-up that's happening here. So first things
So
first.
quick show of hands. Who uses a 36 touch and 8x8 type system? Again, you don't have to come off camera. You can hit the little emoji button, whatever it is. Who does use a 36 touch or an 8x8? All right. So Kate's going to talk
Those
a little
terms are new to me. Those are new terms to me, Jeff.
Good. We're going to go into them a little bit more here for sure. But I just wanted to know who was out there using it. Anybody know what a D to D2 is? D to DTD. I always have such a hard time with that one. I don't know why. DTD2. It's like art. This should be a droid in Star Wars for sure. Or at least one of those little things that that you sit in and walk around with on Hoth. Right? It's the mini one. Cool. Showing my geek there for you. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So tell us a little bit more about how we should use the D to D2.
Usually for the DTD2, it focuses on phone calls. It's a phone call touch system. And so one thing, actually, when we do follow-up calls, it can either maybe be you who's going to do it, depending on what kind of call you would want it to happen, and basing on the taggings as well. Sometimes you can make other people call. Let's say, for example, your assistant to do the follow-up, because we also do follow-up here. But of course, at the same time, it won't be what I call the one converting them for now. Following up is the most important here as much as possible. So when you say DTD2, that means to say that you will be following up or phoning or calling your contacts in the database. So that would mean to say that you are going to have a list of all of your contacts of your database, and then make sure that it is properly tagged according to where they or the category that they belong to. For example, we have A and W. Those contacts that has the last name that starts with the letters A and the letter W, of course, they belong to the A and W category. So usually A and W, B and D, and a lot more. These are the contacts that I need to call for the whole month.
Yeah.
And then the next batch would be on the second month. And then the next batch will be on the third month. So it's going to be a quarterly basis that you're going to do here as much as possible.
And it's quarterly because there's how many letters in the alphabet? Easy one. This is a layup. 26. That's right. 26 letters in the alphabet. So if we're doing 2 letters a week, we get through all 26 letters of the alphabet in 13 weeks, right? So if you want to see what the best 2 letters to combine are, right? Because you can go down a slippery slope here, because if you're going last initial and you decide to do A's and S's on the same week, or M's and S's, you could have a lot of calls to make. So the person that put the D to D2 system together, I did it right. Look at that. They've got it sorted by more popular and less popular letters, so that way you can get through the whole 13 weeks. A pretty reasonable number of calls on any given week. A and W is my favorite, even though I might like Barks root beer a little bit better. It's got more bite. But some of the letters you could tell when they were put together are intentionally meant to make you smile. So A and W is one of them. Love it. So a phone call or touch system. For those of you that know me with the D to D2, or know anybody as far as how I refer using a phone call system, you start with a call. They won't pick up because 99% of them don't, right? So then you follow up with a text and let them know inside of the text. So Monday we call, Tuesday we text, and then Thursday, and in the text we tell them we're going to try to call them back one more time that week. You never want to give your clients homework. So you call and leave a nice message. You text and say, hey, I'd love to talk to you. I'm going to call you back on Thursday. And then when they get your call on Thursday, if they don't answer, they don't answer, but you made the attempts. And that way you get through your whole database in that way. Great. Love it. So 12 Direct. I'm going to talk a little bit about 12 Direct. Is that okay, Kate? Good.
Go ahead, Jeff.
All right. So for those that don't know the system, Marco, since you mentioned it, I grabbed the book. So this is a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I grabbed that book. I first read this book when I was a district manager for Tesla. I know it sounds weird. I had the district manager for Tesla be reading a book about real estate. Is he planning on getting into real estate? No. What I heard from real estate agents that I knew was it was a great book on building small business. And we were in a growth period for Tesla in the state of Maryland. And I wanted to just find a book that I could share with my people that would just really dig into guerrilla marketing and owning your business. There were individual sales reps that were going house to house and selling solar, working inside of retail stores. And so how could they manage their business like a small business? And I was told that that was a great book and it had great pieces of information in it that could do that. And that's where I first learned the 12 Direct. It's where I first learned the 8x8 and the 36 touch system. And so the 8x8 inside of that system is 8 pieces of quick contact that you are using to start to build a relationship with somebody that you've just met and you want to become top of mind and really get into their heads. So this could be something that introduces them to your system. It could be something that highlights pain points that they might be going through. And again, how your system fixes the pain point, but either direct mail or email, or what's even better is a mix of all of it, right? I'm going to call you, I'm going to email you, I'm going to point you to a post or tag you in a post on social media, and I'll send you some sort of packet or it's got some information about me. That's the 8x8, a real heavy hit within 2 weeks. We're going to get you a bunch of information about me. The 12 Direct, a little bit on the different side. It's somebody I haven't met yet, but I want to meet. And so as part of that, I still want to stay top of mind. They're in my database. They're not a lead. They don't know me, but I know they exist, and I know that they're part of my key target demographic. They're somebody that I want to be in relationship with. And so what I do there is I have some items of value that I can send to them across the year. And so every month, I'm going to send some sort of item of value. Real estate agents do this really well because you always end up having, like, the Orioles baseball schedule on your fridge, which was a real estate magnet that was sent out, right? Or you get some recipe cards. You're going into the 4th of July, something that I'm going to look at and say, oh, that's neat. I'm going to save that banana bread recipe. Don't send a fruit cake recipe. I always throw that one away. I don't care how funny you think it is. I've got a real estate agent that sent me a bottle opener once. It's still hanging on my fridge. I've never used that real estate agent, but it's still on my fridge. And it's at my local tequila bar. It's on their thing. They pop it off the thing all the time to open up bottles. So it works, right? What tchotchke, what value can you give to people that are a part of your target demographic that could help them remember you, that they see your name even when they're not in touch? So that way, as you start to show up more often, they're thinking about you when that thing happens. I've still got the same plumber's card on my fridge since I moved into this house 13 years ago, right? So see, I went over the 9 there, Chris. You like that? All right. And then we've got the 36 touch. As Kate mentioned, that's kind of systematic, right? We've got a system surrounding finding a way to reach out to our clients consistently. Client events is a great way to do this. Webinars like this are a great way to do this. If you've got something that you can bring people together in order to learn and grow together, the way that we reach out to people for this event is often part of that 36 touch. We'll email you multiple times. We call you to let you know. We send you a calendar invite, right? Like, we tell you about it on this call. We'll call people and find out about it afterwards. I'll meet you in person at events and tell you about it. Systematically speaking, what am I doing to keep in touch with you throughout the year now that you're in our MET database and even possibly a client, right? So there we go. Love it. All right. So Kate, you're up. Let's moving on to the next slide here. Ways to follow up with that. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So we've got, these are the common ways that we can do for the follow-up. Of course, email. We always start with email. Or if you want to do text message, that's also possible. Call system, events, giveaways, and raffle. So then again, all of these 6 can also be added in the 36 touch plan that Jeff have mentioned. So then again, for the 36 touch plan, usually it's a weekly thing, or more like any ways that you would be able to just make sure that you're keeping touch with your contact. Let's say, for example, on the first week, you want to send them an email, then go ahead. Second week, I want to just simply check up on them. And then let's say, for example, you have an upcoming event this April, then you can go ahead and send them another email inviting them to the event, like that. Or let's say, for example, I believe client appreciation is also up, so we can also use that our advantage to give them some, maybe a giveaway That's also one thing, or maybe hold some event for them. I did remember that there are some clients who would do a happy hour, or they have these toast something event with their clients as well. So and for some, what they usually do is they support local. Say for example, cookies. So they give out their clients cookies like that, or those who have they also go up for a raffle ticket. Of course, not those free vacation because guess that's too much. But something nice and that you could give them so that they would feel like, oh, I'm remembered like that. And they would also have a lot more ways to give you more referrals. So that's also one thing.
I don't know. I like the free vacation idea. I've seen a lot of people give away a TV or a grill. But if somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to pay for you to go to the Bahamas for a week," I'd probably be calling into that one. So I like that. I'm down for that. That's a good idea. Let's do it. Yeah, giveaways is great, right? We sponsored with a local farm at give out Thanksgiving meals to families in needs, and so collaborated with them, gave out meals to people locally, and again, webinars like this, inviting people to personal events. Love it. Keep going. That might be it.
There you
Anybody
go.
else have anything that they do with their clients that's not on the list? Something that you love?
So this week, I actually got a bunch of text messages from clients. The post office was a little slow, but I sent them lollipops that says you're the heart of my business,
Oh, that's cute.
and they all seemed to love it, and I got referrals from it.
That's awesome. See, the next one coming up is St. Patrick's Day, and being lucky probably wouldn't be the right way to go with that. Oh, all right.
No.
So Valentine's Day works. That worked better. Okay, good. Moving forward then. Okay, just about wrapping up. Talk to us about how it works inside of our funnel then, Kate. Like we're jumping into our pipeline. We've got these stages. We're putting it all together in order to close some business. What's that look like?
Yep. Usually, we all know about this, right? We always start with lead, right? We get leads, then we make sure to follow up so that we be able to get more, make them a contact, set an appointment, and then let's say, for example, if they want to use our services, they would sign the contract and then it's delivered, right? But then again, the question here is how would we be able to get the leads?
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of ways. Yes, I believe I heard someone who said marketing. That's one good thing. Marketing helps because in our generation, a lot of people are now focused on their laptops, their phones. A lot now are all right. So everything is done online as much as possible. Ads, just like I believe that was Marco, the Google PPC. That one, yes, that also helped. I have like trained a cyberbacker who has a client who focused on Google PPC, and man, their leads it kept coming. It was really good because that's they do their marketing. Would help. But at the same time, we also would be able to get leads from what we did we talked about earlier, from the way that you would be able to let's say for example, when we say events, of course when we hold events, it's not just the existing we have. It's not just for the clients that we already have in the database. We would be able to get more chances of winning leads as well, right? Maybe let's say for example, you held up like an open house event, or random event that is currently upcoming right now, or maybe an event that you have for St. Patrick's Day, for example, or event that you have currently coming. So there are some people who would just walk at the sidewalk, or just simply see that, oh hey, there's an event, so they would join in, then they will get interested what you're offering, and then they would sign up. So that's already a lead, right? So those events can also help. What else apart from online marketing, apart from those events that you've held, at the same time, yeah, just what we mentioned earlier, the referrals, maybe when we catch up or when we check out with the clients that we have already in the database that we've already made transaction with, we check them out, right? Like maybe there's someone that you might be interested in need of this service, let me know, yeah, something like that, so that we would be able to also get possible leads, right?
Love it.
Then yeah, once there is a lead, of course, the next question would be how can we make them a contact? Because we do have a lead, but we don't like, hey, we didn't tap into them yet, right? You haven't really text them, you haven't emailed them. So another way for us to put in the follow-up, just make sure that we prioritize our tagging here so that when there's a lead, automatically, okay, I need to reach this one out. Or if you are confident or comfortable in calling them, go ahead and immediately call them. Have it put in on your call list. Have it, someone remind you like, hey, I need to call this person because this just came in today. Like that.
Yeah.
This is a need. So, once you get all of their information that we needed, we know what they need, we know what they want, what they're looking for somehow. That's already a contact, right? And then after that, we cannot just simply say like, hey, you want to get an appointment with me? Do you want to sign a contract? The flow doesn't start or doesn't work with that, right? We still have some stages to do before we make them an appointment. Because then again, I believe every one of you already is aware of this. We have contacts who are hot, nurture, and warm, right? So the question here is, how would we be able to follow them up? How would we be able to continue to keep touching or keep touch base with them, each category? How can we touch base those who are on the hot leads already, hot contacts, warm, nurture, okay? Our strategy here. So the best time for us to be able to make sure that our pipeline stages move is at the same time we are moving, right? So we take time. As always, we have to make sure that we're taking the time, we're setting up goals, because without a proper follow-up system goal, where would you start, right?
Yeah,
That's also one thing.
I think one of the really important things to drive home about that is no matter how it is that you're tracking information, you want to know what stage they're in, right? To your point, right? So are they a hot lead? Is it somebody that's had an appointment? How I follow up with somebody that's in appointment stage is different than how I follow up with somebody that's in lead stage, right? And what kind of visual do you have in order to be able to see that where each of your contacts is in your database and what stage they're in for your business, right? So good, love it, tons of content. It is about that time. So I want to leave everybody with a really important piece here. You guys see the right screen? Are you guys looking at that piece? All right, good. That is, what are you going to do this week with the information that Kate shared? Thank you so much, Kate, for coming on and bringing this to us. That time, everybody give Kate a quick round of applause. I really appreciate you taking the time to this. Kate's just doing this out of the kindness of her heart. So what are you doing this week? Bailey, you got a question? All right, that was your round of applause. Okay. And also, down, how are you changing your database this week? How are you moving forward? How are you being intentional about your growth there? You need to learn more about how a cyberbacker might be able to help you build your database and help you manage it. Go ahead and scan here or email shara@maryland@cyberbacker.com and we can get you hooked up with a database manager. And also, next week, one of my fun ones, being authentic through social media. We just talked about different ways to stay in touch and stay top of mind. And this is a great way for you to just be top of mind and be in people's faces on social media by being authentic and sharing with them who you are so they get to know you even when you don't have a chance to see them in person every day of the week. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.